Good evening, Council. My name is Louis Pitts. Happy New Year. But as you can see, we've shifted more to the underbelly of our city, which is quite the opposite of the very deserving resolutions and honors that we were giving out. I wanted to return to the issue that Ms. Hoffner was raising. In November of 2021, a Greensboro police officer named Hamilton shot in the face and killed Joseph Lopez. Months went by, apparently with no punitive action against Officer Hamilton by the city. And then in 2022, a federal civil rights lawsuit was filed naming you all as city council as a defendant and Officer Hamilton as a defendant. And on the same day, the district attorney indicted Officer Hamilton. Then later that same day, you, the city, fired that police officer. Now, what I have learned from a public records request, Ms. Hightower, that I have right here, is that you all, meaning we all, are paying Mr. Rosabi, who's the Rudy Giuliani of Greensboro, to represent Officer Hamilton. And further, you have paid more than 6 times the amount to Mr. Rosabi, $54,765 to be exact, to defend Officer Hamilton. That's 6 times more than you're paying your own silk stocking lawyer to defend you. Now, why are you paying for the civil defense, meaning in the federal civil rights suit, to defend the cop that shot wrongly in the face Mr. Lopez, the same Officer Hamilton that you fired? Now, on October the 24th of last year, I wrote a records request asking the city for all the documents that might explain any of the contracts or responsibilities that might explain why are you entitled to, under some obligation, to pay that money to Amiel Rosabi to defend the officer, and I've got no response. Thereafter, I wrote again to Kirk Brenneman, not his fault. I'm sure it lies with the legal department. I still don't have a response. Why are you paying money to defend the officer you fired? The public needs to know this. So I'm very serious. And I hope you are aware that you're doing that, because if you're not, somebody's hiding that from you. And we, the public, would like some clarification. Could we have a little bit of that now?
That's really not what this time is for. As we said earlier, certainly Mr. Watts or somebody else from his office can reach out to you after this meeting.
I've asked formally under the law and not been given it. I don't know why I would expect now, unless you will at least direct somebody to give me an answer which can be shared to the public. Will any of you ask and direct that information be?
I am sure that Mr. Watts will explain what the financial obligation from the city is.
Ms. Attorney Watts, would you please do that?
It would be confidential legal advice that I wouldn't want to talk about in public.
So what now? Can you say that again?
Yes.
It would be confidential legal advice that I wouldn't want to discuss in public for fear of losing the attorney-client privilege.
So can we have an attorney-client privilege session? Because I know nothing.
Okay. I will say
That information
we did get an email on June 6th regarding the indictment.
Regarding the indictment.
I know nothing.
The idea that there's
This is not a discussion at this point.
how fair is that? How fair is that to open government?
Well, the city council does have the right to have, and the city to have, confidential legal advice.
And put that in writing. How come it's been over 2 months and you won't even put that in writing? Well, this is supposed to be rule of law.
Thank you.
That's why I mentioned Rudy Giuliani. We're playing
Thank you.
rules like it was Trumpism here. Help us. Help us. y'all.
Mr.
That's
Pitts,
why you
please
are
stop or
elected.
you're going to have to leave.
Yes, ma'am.